sports, politics, life. 360 Document Solutions presents Kevin Keatsman Has Issues online at 360documentsolutions.com.
It was just a fabulous sight at Twitter headquarters in California as Elon Musk walked in carrying a sink, a pretty big sink, and then tweeted out, "Let this sink in," as Elon Musk is taking over Twitter. He went on to change his bio on Twitter to Chief Twit, which is just fantastic, and went on to say that he's meeting a lot of really cool people today at Twitter. Of course, he has upset the apple cart in America, in media, in information, in freedom of speech, and so many different ways. The left has become completely unhinged over this takeover of Twitter, which they have basically owned and operated since its inception in the early to mid-2000s. It has been their domain. They have owned and operated it and run it for their good, for their advancement, for the advancement of everything woke, every liberal politician, and everything that they believe in, along with CNN, MSNBC, the old legacy media, CBS, ABC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, you name them, they've had control. What they know and why they're freaking out is these tech media companies, for lack of a better term, have more influence now and more impact on the electorate than do the old legacy media. Knowing this, it's got them completely freaked out that Elon Musk is taking over. And by the way, we don't know exactly what Elon Musk is going to do. He may disappoint a whole bunch of us that he doesn't do enough, or that he doesn't do. If you're thinking he's going to turn this into, a bastion of conservatism and nothing else, I think you're missing the point. I think he really believes in free speech, and he wants free speech to be there. But just leveling the playing field, just making it half and half, and not doing things like kicking the president of the United States off Twitter is an amazing place to start. And it was something really to see as he walked into an empty building, because nobody really works at Twitter anymore. They sent everybody home from the pandemic, and they haven't required anybody to come back. Musk has already stated that if you want to stay at Twitter, you must come to the office. You must work at least 40 hours a week in the office, and we're going to rethink everything here. It's got their heads exploding. Some of these young kids that are working there, that have been working remotely on their, Apple computers from the beach, or while they walk their dog working on their phone, it's driving them crazy. They're going to be required to be in the office 40 hours a week. I think we all pretty much know that Musk will move Twitter to Texas at some point, which is very interesting because everything that they're moving to Texas is going to Austin, which is a very liberal place, but all these conservative organizations are moving to Austin. It will be very interesting to see how that may change the city of Austin, which is the one really big liberal pocket in Texas. And I don't mean like Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. Obviously, the urban centers of those places are liberal, but Austin is just generally college town, liberal kind of place for Texas. And it's very interesting to watch all these conservative companies move to Austin, Texas, and all these conservatives move to Austin, Texas, and how it may change politics in that city and in the state capital of Texas. It is so fun to watch this happening. And one of the really interesting things that took place, I was reading a few stories about financial stories. I don't really read a lot of business financial stories, but they were everywhere yesterday, popping up, that international banks all over the world, internationally, banks, big banks, were moving billions of dollars yesterday. Like billions of dollars were moving in dozens of banks all over the world, where Elon Musk has either lines of credit, holdings, has sold Tesla shares to, or that hold Tesla stock, whatever it may be, that billions of dollars were moving all over the world for this transaction to take place by no later than Friday. It's going to be $44 billion spent. He's got it. He's got the money. He seemed very happy walking in. This is not the deal he wanted. He had hoped to drive the price down and was unable to do that through legal challenges, and is going forward with the $44 billion acquisition of Twitter. And it is believed that he will clean it up, that it will be fair, it will be honest. The robots in due time are going to disappear and be gone. There is no real understanding of what he may be able to do between now and the election. And I think one of the biggest questions about Twitter is, will Donald Trump get back on Twitter, or does he just stay with his social media company and say, that's that, Truth Social? I don't know. I don't know what Trump does. I don't know if he sees him as a competitor now. It's hard to say. You would think if he runs for president, he'd almost have to get back on Twitter and be on both platforms and just go forth and do it that way. The left is starting its own platform, and it is already launched. And I forget the name of it. But Libs of TikTok went on there this week. I think you've heard of Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok was purchased by the Babylon Bee. This is a woman who lived in New York. She was anonymous, and she just went on Twitter with an account called Libs of TikTok. And what she did was she found crazy liberal people on TikTok and posted their videos on Twitter and made them look silly. Well, Twitter shut her down on several occasions. They're like, you can't do that. She's like, why can't I do that? This is just stuff that's out there. I'm reposting it. It's not even me commenting on these people. It's just showing the masses on Twitter how crazy the left is. And so she got banned from Twitter for a while, and I think she got back on. It was tumultuous. But anyway, she works for Babylon Bee now, where they've purchased Libs of TikTok. So Libs of TikTok went on and posted on this new left-wing social media site this week. She posted, I'm paraphrasing here, she said, let's all see how long it takes us to get kicked off this platform. I'm so excited to be here with Libs of TikTok and look forward to seeing what happens. And join me. You know, she's basically joining other conservatives. Join me on this platform and see how long it takes to get kicked off. And then she put at the end, P.S. Men can't have babies. She was on there 20 minutes. They kicked her off in 20 minutes because she wrote, men cannot have babies. Can you imagine? Awesome. Go have your liberal social media outlet. Go have it. The most extreme of you. Have your own. Be happy. Go live in that world. Enjoy yourself. The masses, the tens of millions that are on Twitter, I think Elon Musk is going to do a really nice job balancing this and allowing free speech. He may also help internationally by not doing things like allowing, North Korea or Iran to have all their people on Twitter, but not Donald Trump. I mean, that's a really bad look. When it really comes down to it, that's really, really bad. Now, there's going to be people that are upset that on the right that go, oh, we hoped Musk would do more. No, whatever you get is progress. Whatever you get here is progress. And the left has gone crazy, especially at CNN, where one of their broadcasters said, this is fundamentally cruel. Elon Musk is taking over Twitter. Another called him, quote, a piece of trash, unquote, for taking over Twitter. CNN's staffers are freaked out this week. They believe more cuts are coming, and they believe more changes are coming. CNN has played, to this point through the election, they have played this more fair than anything they've played in 10 years. I'm not saying it is fair. I'm not saying they've met the middle of the road. They haven't. But you can see them moving. And you can see all these people on the left. And now we see some people in the Democrat Party that are calling out and running for office in places going, we've got gubernatorial, I hate that word, candidates for governor running, Democrats, with a sitting Democrat governor saying, no, I'm not like them. I'm running from that. That governor's retiring or resigning or whatever. Like, I'm not that person. No. And we're seeing all kinds of criticism now of the far left from people that want to be Democrats, but they're seeing that what they're doing is getting derailed by the people on the far left. They see it, they feel it, they know it's coming. Thank you, Elon Musk. This is fun. Okay, there is bad news with the good news today. This one was just shocking to me. I spent about an hour last night researching and reading polls, trends. The big headlines right now are everything is moving right. Everything is moving to the GOP. Everything is swinging, and it's just getting better and better and better. I temper that with there is massive early voting. Everywhere, there is massive early voting. And we know massive early voting is Democrat. And we know it is good news for them if they get massive numbers. We also have the issue in Pennsylvania where we understand 240,000 ballots were mailed out that have not been verified with a driver's license or social security number. So we have GOP officials already in Pennsylvania complaining. And now the Pennsylvania Secretary of State has announced, she's a Democrat. The Pennsylvania Secretary of State has announced this was 13 days to go before the election day. She announced, quote, "We are not going to have results on election night," unquote. They've just said the quiet part out loud in Pennsylvania. Don't even think about projecting anything because we're going to take all night and into the morning and we'll figure this out. Don't even think about it. It's the United States of America, 2022, and we have a state outwardly saying, forget about it. We'll have no results for you on election night. This is remarkable. That is not democracy. Something's going on there. But as I'm reading all this polling and all this different information, I go to a site from time to time, Real Clear Politics. It's not perfect. It's not great, but they do averages of multiple polls. I've always said averages of multiple polls that are all liberal is just an average of bad polls. So I don't live and die or believe in all the polls. I don't. What I do believe in at Real Clear Politics is movement in those polls because they factor all the same polls. So we can see over weeks or months movement in a race. That you can see. These things don't predict the final outcomes. They can't. There's no way to predict that. There's too many people out there lying and, scamming pollsters and whatever. But what we can see, and if you believe in the percentage of the numbers, is movement in races. So the first one that pops up on the congressional map, the most recent Real Clear Politics that popped up was Kansas District 3. Chiefs Davids, the incumbent, Amanda Adkins, the Republican. And they moved it yesterday from leans GOP, in other words, this is leaning toward Amanda Adkins winning, to toss-up. So we told you last week we had Amanda Adkins on that she told me and has stated to people privately and off the air, she wasn't as confident on the podcast, that she's got people she's asking for more money and more help. She's getting outspent 3 or 4 to 1. The abortion ads are crushing her. They're just awful lies. They're wrong. They're lying in the spots, but there's no question with a certain percentage of voters that will work. She's asked for more money. The people in D.C. have told Amanda Adkins, you're good. All of our internal polling says you're going to win there. You're good. They just keep telling her, you're good, you're good, you're good. She wants more and more money from the RNC to win the race, and now the thing is swung to a toss-up. She's losing ground. I can tell you she is losing ground. I believe that number. I believe that Real Clear Politics, with their average of polls, has seen over the last 2 or 3 months she has lost ground. I believe that. Here's the craziest part. I went down 28 consecutive congressional races since September 23rd, updated polls and the movement of those polls. Folks, I hope you are sitting down. 28. So they've listed 28 since September 23rd. That's about a month ago, a little over a month ago, right? There have been 28 updates on races of new polling, new averages. Here's how they've moved. These are all for Congress. None of these are Senate or governors. These are all House seats. 28 of them. 27 of the 28 moved to the right in some fashion. Some of them were like lock Democrats, now lean Democrat. That doesn't mean they're winning them all, but each race, every single one of these other 27 since September 23rd has moved to the right. The only one of the 28 that has moved left is Kansas District 3. It is the only one. You can go see it for yourself. Go to Real Clear Politics, click on elections or polls, go to Congress, and it'll show you the latest updates. And Kansas 3 is right there at the top. I can't explain this other than the millions of dollars they've spent in Kansas City media blasting Amanda Adkins over abortion. That's the only thing that explains this. And since we're sitting at ground zero where that's actually working in Kansas District 3, I know so many of you live in Missouri. I know. But those races are locked. We know what's happening. There's no toss-ups there. Cleaver's going to win. Alford's going to win. Graves is going to win. We got it. We know it's going to happen in Missouri. So much money has been spent. You've seen these abortion ads where these young moms sitting in their kitchen go, Amanda Adkins is taking away my rights and my freedoms. It's working. And it seems like it's only working here. This can't be the only place in America where they're just blasting abortion at the voters, trying to get people in the middle to vote for Democrats. It cannot be the only place. Why it is working here and nowhere else is beyond me. Maybe this is the one place where the money, maybe Sharice Davids is just such a star for them because, she's as left as AOC, but she's very quiet. She just goes with the flow. They love having her as part of the squad and nobody knowing that she's part of the squad. There is nobody more left-wing than Sharice Davids. It's not possible. And yet she's in the cover of darkness, runs around and has people convinced that she's some middle-of-the-road or really sweet, nice lady that is just going to Congress to help people in District 3. No, she's not. She's a radical leftist. That is exactly what she is. She hates white people. It doesn't get said. She wears a T-shirt that says she hates white people, and her people have always hated white people, meaning indigenous people. She wears it on her chest. It's right there for everyone to see. And if you want to narrow this down, she really hates white men, and she really, really hates conservative white men. We could check all kinds of boxes on how racist Sharice Davids is and how radical she is. She is just like Ilhan Omar. She is just like AOC, and nobody here seems to know it because they don't bring it out in the campaign. It's not going to happen in day-to-day life over 2 years while she's serving. The time that it happens is a campaign, and it is time. There's 2 weeks to go. You're losing ground in the polls. What are you going to do? The voting has started. Thousands are lining up every day and voting. What are you going to do, GOP? What are you going to do, Amanda Adkins? What are we going to do about this? It isn't working. It did not work 2 years ago to play nice. And right now, according to Real Clear Politics, out of the last 28 congressional races, they have looked at the average of polls. This is the only damn place that it's not working. The other 27 are all moving right. Kansas District 3, oh, we're moving left. Really? From leans GOP to toss-up, I still think Amanda has a great chance to win because they redrew the district. Surely they knew what they were doing in Kansas, and they counted the votes and the registrations, and they knew the way that this would play out because they redrew the map. Surely they would not redraw the map without being very certain that John Fetterman could win the seat. You cannot lose this seat. This seat cannot be lost. Not in this election. If not now, when? That's the question. If not now, when? You can check that out for yourself at Real Clear Politics. I think we did an excellent patron podcast yesterday. And I know I talked to you from time to time about becoming a patron. We're going to be doing a patron event the day after the election. Patron party for patrons of KKHI, where we're going to get together. I'll set up an appetizer buffet. Mike Thompson is going to come out and speak, the former meteorologist and now Kansas State Senator from Shawnee. And we'll do a Q&A, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you'd like to go, you can become a patron by going to kkasissues.com and signing up to become a patron. It's best to do this on a computer or laptop or tablet and not your phone. It's just more difficult on your phone. I can't explain why. It's a Podbean thing. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So it may be a little more work to do it on your home computer or your laptop or your tablet. We'd love to get you signed up. If you do, you will get yesterday's podcast as well. And I don't say this very often. I just thought yesterday's patron podcast was really good. I spent a good deal of time talking about Mayor Charlie Wheeler, who died at the age of 96. He was the mayor of Kansas City in the 70s and was mayor when KCI opened, Bartle Hall opened, Kemper Arena was built, the sports complex opened. He was a visionary. And they all just claimed him in Kansas City media as, like yesterday, as a Democrat. Mayor Lucas was on board. Oh, God, this guy's a visionary. Oh. He's a visionary. He's so great. He's so great. He's so great. He's a Democrat. No, Charlie Wheeler was not a Democrat. He was a Democrat. He was not a Democrat. And he handed the thing off to Richard Berkeley, who was Republican. We basically had 4 straight terms of mayors in Kansas City that were conservative, and Kansas City was a great place to live. And the growth and the prosperity was enormous. We go into detail on the Patron podcast about Charlie Wheeler's love for Ronald Reagan. Charlie Wheeler was maybe the first Reagan Democrat. And he listed as his greatest accomplishment as mayor of Kansas City, not building KCI, not Kemper Arena, not Bartle Hall, not the sports complex, not any of these things that he oversaw, not the prosperity, not the peace, not the safety, not the growth, none of those things. He listed as his greatest accomplishment their hero, their left, all the media in Kansas City on the left, their hero, Charles Wheeler, named the Wheeler Airport after him, and he was a great mayor. Visionary. He wanted a bullet train from Kansas City to St. Louis, and it never got built. And people wonder today, what if we built that? What would the state of Missouri be? What would that have done for the state of Missouri? Hard to say, but the guy really was creative. He was smart. He was a doctor. He was in the service. I go through all of this on the Patron podcast. It's very interesting. He listed his greatest achievement as mayor as getting the Republican National Convention in Kansas City in 1976. Their hero on the left, they're propping him up as a Democrat. It's sort of like saying Harry Truman was a Democrat, right? Harry Truman, they would cancel all these people. Harry Truman would be a racist today. He'd be, what would the words they'd use about him be? That he dropped a nuclear bomb on Japan. They thought Trump was xenophobic. What is that? He dropped nuclear bombs on Japan. They would cancel all their Democrats today. John Kennedy would not be a Democrat today. None of them would be. They're not a soul that would be that. The Republicans haven't changed that much. The Republicans sort of stay the same. Conservatism, belief in the Constitution, love of country, less government has been around since the day they wrote the Constitution. The Constitution is a document that limits the government. That's what the Constitution is. It doesn't say what the government can do. It, in almost all cases, says what the government cannot do. They can't take away your rights, your God-given rights. It is a document that limits the government. That's the Republican Party. That's the conservative way. The Democrat Party has just disappeared. It's taken off and gone so far left, you don't even know where they are. And they run around and love to say, Charles Wheeler was a great mayor, did all these great things. He was a Democrat. My God, he wasn't a Democrat. There isn't one person in the media today in Kansas City that's liberal that would like anything that Charlie Wheeler stood for or did. Nothing. Zero. They would hate everything about the guy, including the fact that he gave as his greatest accomplishment bringing the Republican convention to Kansas City. That's just fantastic. We go into great detail on this, Charlie Wheeler and some other things on yesterday's Patreon podcast. We'd be honored if you signed up at kkasissues.com. KKHI is presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC, where right now they've got a $100 rebate on 4 tires. Need new tires? Excelsior Springs is the place. They will even come get your car, take it to their shop in Excelsior, put your new tires on, and bring it to you. They'll do that for you. Right now, $100 rebate on a set of 4 at Roberts Robinson and their award-winning service department. This is the home of the lifetime warranty. You can shop online, you can deliver at home, or you can build your own. 0% financing on all Buick SUVs, 0% financing on most GMCs. And don't forget, $1,000 accessory allowance on Chevy trucks, robertsrobinson.com, or call Tim Trader. Just call Tim. Say, listen, what's the deal? I think I'm getting a car, and maybe I want to get it from you. 816-826-1563, robertsrobinson.com. North Kansas City Dental is Dr. Bill Bush. Look, he's Patrick Mahomes' dentist. What else we got to say? This guy loves sports. He loves politics. He loves life. He loves the podcast. And he would love it if you became one of the patients at North Kansas City Dental. They've got a team of award-winning dentists there, and they have offices in the Northland and Westwood, Kansas. If you'd like to make an appointment, you can do it online at nkcdental.com or call 816-471-2911 for Dr. Bill Bush at nkcdental.com. And my friends at the Bluemont Hotel and Goolsby's Restaurant, Bar, and Indoor Entertainment Center in Manhattan, USA. Going to be heading to Manhattan on Saturday for the game. I think I'll swing into Goolsby's maybe for a cold one before or after the game. Maybe I will see you there. Want to meet me at Goolsby's? Come on by Saturday. I can't say yet. I don't know whether it's going to be before the game or after the game. But I'll see you at Goolsby's. I might buy you a pint right off the wall where you pour your own. How's that sound? Sounds like a good time to me. When you're in Manhattan to stay the night, the Bluemont Hotel is the only place to stay. Online at BluemontHotel.com. Okay, here's another little update from one of my favorite races. I've said many times the best candidate and the best campaign being run anywhere in the United States this election season is Kari Lake in Arizona running for governor. Before I mentioned it on the podcast, which was the first time I mentioned her was probably 2 months ago. Before that, I was already telling friends, watch out for this lady. Now, was I biased going in? We basically are the same age. We have the same background. We've both been in media. We both know how that works. We're both good in front of a microphone or a camera, can articulate our point well, and believe the right things in the United States in 2022. Now, I ain't nearly as attractive as she is, okay? I can go on camera and get by. Any guy can with a jacket and tie on. I've said that before. Kari Lake is the complete package. She is everything. When I first started watching this, I was shocked to see that she was like down 6 in the polls, down 7, down 6. She is just campaign and campaign and campaign and negative against her opponent who won't debate her. They have made fun of her. They've had chicken dinners. They've named her after Hobbs because she's chicken to debate. They have chicken dinners. They do all these. They just slam her for being a chicken and not debating. Well, she knows Kari Lake is going to devour her in a debate. So she is not going to debate. She's not going to get Fettermaned. Okay? I'll give Hobbs credit. She knows she has no chance of winning if she debates Kari Lake. None. Kari Lake, the first time I looked, was down 6 in the polls. I've seen some things that said she was down 8 at one point. This must have been months ago. But it's been pretty close. But Kari Lake is surging. She is now a national figure. It took Fox and television networks, whatever, a long time to figure out, oh my God, there's somebody in Arizona that can help us get ratings on a national basis because she shines every time she's on. I don't believe this poll. I don't believe this will happen. But this poll came out yesterday. Fox 10 in Phoenix and some college group, whatever, did a poll. It now shows Kari Lake is up 11 points. I'd like to think she's going to win by 11. That seems a little high to me. That seems a little high. I can tell you this. We've been property owners for over 20 years in Arizona. We have spent more time in Arizona than any place other than Kansas or Missouri. It is the only other place. I've owned properties in Kansas and Missouri. It's the only other place I've owned property. And we love Arizona. And someday I think our future is more time in Arizona. I don't know when that is, what that looks like. We don't know, but we just love it there. We love all the conservative people we meet there. We love the northern part of Scottsdale that's kind of like Western towns. It's like the Old West. It's like living out in the country. It's really cool. It's not unusual to see a horse walking down the street. People wear cowboy hats and boots. We like that. We love the old rustic Arizona. We love the places we've been, which are very conservative, and we have not understood how this state was starting to turn purple. Because when we first started going there, it was as red as Kansas or Missouri is now. People are moving in from California, but largely people moving in from California and New York now to these other states are conservatives getting out. They're not liberals tired of the way it is. They like the way that is. We're seeing a migration of conservatives into these other states. So maybe it was illegal immigration. Maybe it was voter fraud. Maybe it was people that aren't eligible to vote actually getting to vote. I don't know how it was turning purple, but I could never really believe it and trust it and understand it. When I see Kari Lake up 11 today, it is shocking to me, but it's kind of the Arizona I know and have always known. So it shouldn't surprise me. And maybe it just took a real candidate. I talk about this in Kansas District 3. If you don't think Kari Lake would be up 10 points on Chiefs Davids right now, I can't help you. Apparently I know nothing about politics. If Kari Lake were running in District 3 against Chiefs Davids right now, this race would be over. The Democrats would have pulled their money. There'd be no abortion ads running. Nothing would be running. It would be over. Kari Lake would have already decimated her, run roughshod right over her. It would be over and the enthusiasm would be off the charts. That's what she's doing in the entire state of Arizona. From, according to one poll, 8 points down to 11 points up. You want to do the math? That is 19-point swing. That is convincing people I'm right for the job. That moves beyond people like us that are ideologues, like I'm going to vote for the Republican or the conservative no matter what. That moves beyond that and reaches people that don't follow politics, that aren't planning on voting, that don't really care. And then they hear this stuff and they go, you know what? I'm kind of tired of the safety issue here too. I'm kind of tired of people walking across our border and invading Arizona. I'm tired of seeing a Border Patrol agent get murdered out in the desert. I'm tired of all this. These are people that are not political, that all of a sudden, you know what? Damn it, Kari Lake is right. I'm registering and I'm voting for her. This is about increasing the electorate. That's what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump increased the number of people that voted. He moved the needle. That's what Kari Lake is doing. And she's moved that damn needle from 8 down to 11 up. It is unbelievable. I think Blake Masters is a fairly weak candidate. I think he'd be a great senator. I don't have any issue with that. I think he looks weak when he's on the stage. I think he's kind of mealy-mouthed. I like the guy. I got nothing really bad to say other than I just don't think he's a great candidate. He's going up against Mark Kelly, who was an astronaut, whose wife got shot, all this other stuff, who's been their senator and is trying to play the middle. Tucker Carlson is doing a documentary on Blake Masters, and he's promoting it every night. They've got backstage access to everything Blake Masters did. Maybe this will help him, but I've been telling Jessica for 2 months. Blake Masters has consistently been 5, 6, 7 points behind Kari Lake in the same state. And what I've said is Kari Lake's a Republican, Blake Masters is a Republican running for Senate. She's going to carry him over the finish line. And you watch. Blake Masters, if Kari Lake is up 11, Blake Masters ain't losing. She's carrying his ass is what she's doing. And I think it's great. I got nothing bad to say about the guy. I'd love to have him in. I think he'll be a great senator, hopefully for many, many terms. But, man, he is not the best candidate. He does not look and sound right many times. And he's way, way, way behind Kari Lake. I mean, he's been trailing her in polling consistently. But if she's up 11, she's carrying that boy across the line. That is good news in Arizona. When Arizona flip that seat, it's all over. Latest projection, Republicans 53 seats, Democrats 47. That's the latest projection of Real Clear Politics. That's the way it's going to shake out. I love it. As you can tell, Kev's just a little bit excited. I got to get this here. We got to stop these people. Hey, thanks to my friend Tim Cross over at Cross Kitchens KC for being such a great sponsor of KKHI. This one's really simple. If you're looking to remodel anything in your home, bathroom, kitchen, finish a spot in your basement, give Tim the opportunity to show you what he can do for you and at least let him draw up a bid and a 3D rendering and design service that they have. Just give him a chance to earn your business. CrossKitchensKC.com. Bstock.net, online at bstock.net. They've got a new shipment of Samsung refrigerators, 4-door French door with the food showcase window in the door, stainless steel, $368 less than Best Buy, and they will deliver it anywhere in Kansas City free. So that's about a $500 and some savings right there over Best Buy. You know they have Microsoft Windows, they have iPad Pro, they have TVs all over the place. 14680 South Flaming Road in Olathe. It's bstock.net. And Amazing Garage Floors. We had that rain. I got my driveway sealed. This is the first time it's rained since Hutch came out and sealed my driveway. And it was just different looking. It wasn't exactly like the water beads on your windshield when you put that waxy stuff on there. It wasn't like that, but it was glorious. It's just, it's hard to explain. You know it's on there. I'm a weird dude. I love my garage floor. And I love the fact that my concrete is sealed. Because now winter's coming, and when the city comes by and their spreader shoots that stuff 25 feet up into my driveway, I don't have to worry about it ruining my concrete. I love it. AmazingGarageFloors.net. Remember, folks, every single one of our sponsors, and then some, are all listed at the KK List. The KK List is a website designed just for you to find conservative businesses to do business with. I get emails from many of you and say, hey, you don't have a window cleaning company on there. You don't have this on there. You don't have that on there. If you have a business and you want to be part of the list, go to the list, click on join the list. It shoots an email to Jessica, and she'll work you through the process of how to do this. Get on the list. We want to build the list with as many conservative businesses or business people You could be a realtor or in insurance or anything like that, and we'll take you. We'd love to have you on the list. If you want to reach conservatives in your area, get on the KK list. And everybody listening, know that when you go to the KK list, you can trust it, that these are good conservative people that we know or have recently met and vetted them. They all listen to the podcast. Everybody there listens to this podcast. So if that's the case, that's a great place to start. Do your business at thekklist.com. It's thekklist.com. I think you'll like it. I think you'll find it easy to use. On to sports, and we'll start with a strange kind of sports headline. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I was shocked to see that Tom Watson is getting divorced after 3 months of marriage. I've got a nose for things in the media that smell fishy. Something ain't right here. There's something we don't know. Tom Watson, 3 months ago, married Leslie Ann Wade. She has put out a release that they are getting divorced after she got an unexpected illness, but that Tom has been fully supportive, made sure she's gotten the best care. She's going to make a complete and full recovery, but they're still getting divorced because of an unexpected illness. I don't understand that on any level. I don't understand that. I don't know what that is. I don't care if they get divorced. And I really don't care if they stay married. I hope for happiness for both of them in their lives moving forward, period. I don't know. Tom Watson's wife died a couple of years ago, and he married a woman he had known for 15 years. She worked for CBS Sports, out on tour and whatnot, she's a golf marketing guru, so they're sort of in the same business. I don't know. I don't understand. It's okay. Divorce is divorce. People don't think of it the way they used to. They're certainly at an older age where, what? I mean, these are good people that have done great things in their life and helped so many others. The philanthropy that Tom Watson's been involved with in Kansas City alone goes beyond the remarkable accomplishments as one of the greatest golfers of all time. I got nothing negative to say here other than this doesn't make sense. The press release that she wrote for herself doesn't add up. That's the strangest thing I've ever heard. A lot of Chiefs fans are emailing me wanting to know if the Chiefs will trade for Kareem Hunt. Apparently the Browns are only asking for a fourth rounder. Chiefs got about 100 picks that they can't use. You literally can't. You don't have enough money with the rookie cap to sign everybody that you would draft. So the Chiefs have to trade some picks at some point for something. Kareem Hunt's available. I don't think it's going to happen. But remember, this is the important part. It's not Andy Reid that wouldn't want to do it. The issue with Kareem Hunt was Clark Hunt. Kareem Hunt lied to Clark Hunt about where he had been and what he did. After they'd given him a second and third chance, he lied to them, and then it was provable on video what he had done, and that he lied face-to-face to the owner of the team, and the owner of the team said, that's enough. We've given this guy every chance in the world. I mean, you can be a gun dealer, right, with the Chiefs. You can do all kinds of things. There's a million things you can do with the Chiefs. They'll let you keep playing. Like Frank Clark, Uzi's in his car, driving around. No big deal. No big deal. You lie face-to-face to the owner, and you're gone. I always thought that was a little weird, that lying to the owner was the thing that gets you kicked off the team. The other crimes, nah. You got a little domestic beating charge here, and you missed 6 games for domestic violence. Okay, no problem. No problem. 6 games, domestic violence, Willie Gay. No problem. No problem. You sit down and you look at the owner and you lie to him, you're out of here. That's what Kareem Hunt was. Other possibilities for Chiefs trades being floated are William Jackson, a cornerback for the Commanders, Sidney Jones, a cornerback for Seattle. These would not be expensive trades. 3rd-round picks, maybe 4th. Both accomplished players. Jackson was a 1st-round pick. Fine player. Defensive end from the Carolina Panthers, Brian Burns, is a stud. That's going to require at least a 1st-rounder. I doubt the Chiefs will do that. Clark Hunt has said, we are not trading next year's 1st-round pick because the draft is in Kansas City. Cam Jordan is an accomplished player, but he's 33 years old. You know the name Cam Jordan. He's been a great player for the Saints his entire career. What's he got left? A year or two? Not a lot. Looks like the Saints, all they want is a second or third round pick for Cam Jordan, who can probably tell the Saints, I don't want to be traded. I want to finish my career here. Or he may say, I may only have a year or two left, and I want to go chase another ring. I want to win a Super Bowl. Cam Jordan, of everyone I just mentioned, Cam Jordan might make the most sense. The corners make sense too, but gosh, you got to think McDuffie's going to get back at some point. The Chiefs are hoping for big things out of him. We have a crazy story of a 2019 Chiefs player that got a Super Bowl ring. Chiefs beat the 49ers, remember? And at a place called Heritage Auction right now, I mentioned this on the Patreon podcast yesterday, but I didn't read the description of the item. So I told the patrons, I said, more on this on tomorrow's podcast. So this is a follow-up. 2019 Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl LIV championship ring presented to defensive tackle Devereaux Lawrence. Do you remember Devereaux Lawrence? I don't remember Devereaux Lawrence. He was on the practice squad at the start, then he was cut, then he was on the practice squad at the end, and then he was cut. Apparently, he got a ring valued at $50,000, and it's for sale. It's for sale at HA.com. That's Heritage Auctions, HA.com. And they describe it this way. On the golden anniversary of the franchise's first and only Super Bowl victory, the 2018 NFL MVP and most exciting young quarterback in the game avenged his Super Bowl 53 loss with a thrilling come-from-behind victory in Super Bowl 54. The presented ring is identical in construction to the one issued to Patrick Mahomes and the men who downed the Niners in America's greatest sporting event. However, this one was issued to practice squad member Devereaux Lawrence, who will provide a letter of provenance to accompany the lot. 2 marquise cut diamonds symbolize the 2 Lombardi trophies in franchise history, with 60 diamonds in the arrowhead representing the 60 years of the team's existence. The 50 diamonds that surround the rubies and logo signify the years between championships, while the 16 custom-cut rubies are the sum of AFC West titles and appearances under head coach Andy Reid. The 122 diamonds around the top edges, unbelievable number of diamonds, around the top edges recognize the NFL centennial and the team's 22 playoffs appearances. World champion stands in the raised text at the perimeter of the face. 4 princess-cut rubies symbolize 4 straight AFC West titles. Left shank identifies the recipient by surname and diamond-studded jersey number, with the team motto and the record decibel level of Arrowhead Stadium nearby. Right shank celebrates the Chiefs Kingdom fan base, while logo and score of Super Bowl 54 fills in the remaining space. There you go. It's available online at HA.com. The leading bid, there's 22 days to go. The leading bid right now is $26,000. They value it at $50,000 plus. I always think it's just terribly sad when a player parts with one of these rings. I would be much happier if Mr. Devereaux were in a position to keep that ring, brag about it, even though he didn't play in the game or play in a regular season game. If I were ever a good enough football player to get to a practice squad and that team won the Super Bowl, I would keep my ring. And I would share that information with everyone. If you're looking for a ring, Jocelyn's Jewelry, 95th and Antioch, is your hookup. They're online at jocelynsjewelry.com. I encourage you to ask for Dave or Cameron when you go to the showroom floor. Gary's in there a couple, 3 days a week. He's not there every single day anymore, but he's there. You can ask for Gary as well. 95th and Antioch. Let them know you listen to the podcast. Guys, you know you're going to be buying something shiny this holiday season. Why not go early, get into Jocelyn's, mention the podcast, and be part of the family at Jocelyn's Jewelry. KU has announced its, quote, to the stars, unquote, basketball, football, and baseball facilities funding. This is a 10-year plan. Oof, it's aggressive. Travis Goff, the AD, said over the last 14 months, they have worked and now unveiling a, quote, elaborate, comprehensive plan. I like this. It's interesting they mentioned basketball first, then football, then baseball, but that's how it works at Kansas. They released some information about what they want to do in football earlier this month, and Kansas people got very excited. They did that when College Game Day was in town. Said, look, they're going to be spending all this money. They're going to do all this stuff. There's private funds they've got to raise. There's some sort of public fund they're going to be using for redevelopment. So if they do redevelopment around the stadium, they can use taxpayer dollars. So they're trying to use tax dollars to help them build the football stadium. But I found it interesting to read. This is one of those stories where they just gave too much information. I just don't know how to say it. They put out too much information. Travis Goff did. When you say you've spent 14 months on an elaborate comprehensive plan and it's going to take 10 years to implement, it is a little bit of a buzzkill. That isn't what bothers me. They went on to make sure everyone knew at the University of Kansas that they surveyed 4,000 people over the last 14 months to concentrate on, quote, a commitment to diverse perspectives, unquote. And that this 10-year plan will include the KU values of, quote, inclusive excellence, including culture building. That's interesting to me, that they would make that sort of point about their athletic facilities. I don't know. Maybe that means something to the recruits. Maybe that's good for the players. Maybe there's something here I don't understand. But if you want to get your fan base excited about what you're building, you don't add on, we've been working on this for 14 months. It's going to take 10 years. We surveyed 4,000 people about diverse perspectives. We're going to have inclusive excellence and culture building with these projects. Just me. That's the fine print. That's the fine print. That's what you put out at a later date. You know, when you start putting out press releases, hey, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be changing the concourse at Allen Fieldhouse. We're going to put in a new sound system. You put that press release out. Then you put out a news press release that says, we're going to change the seating bowl at the football stadium. And we're going to change this for the fans and build these suites at Booth Stadium. And we're going to do this. Then you put out another press release that says, we're going to be doing this for the baseball team. There's going to be new locker room facilities. It's going to be great for all the student athletes that come here. And then about the 8th or 9th release you put out, after people have seen all these different releases over 2 months of the things you're going to be doing, you put one out and go, hey, we surveyed 4,000 people. We want to make sure everybody knows that we've got a commitment to diverse perspectives. We're going to have inclusive excellence, and we're going to have culture building within these facilities. That's an excellent press release on its own, somewhere down the road. I don't mean to be too critical, but I'm sorry. All of a sudden now, I'm not nearly as interested in what they're going to do in the concourse at Allen Fieldhouse as I am as what they're going to do for inclusive excellence, culture building, and diverse perspectives. Just me. Window World is simply the best for less. Their title sponsor of KKHI, online at windowskansascity.com, the official windows of the Kansas City Chiefs. When you call them or reach out to them, they're going to ask you how you heard about them. Window World's great about that. That's why I've been with them so long. A lot of times people don't say, hey, I heard about you on the podcast or the radio show or whatever. But Window World always asks, how did you hear about us? Tell them KKHI. They won the J.D. Power Award again for customer satisfaction. No shocker there. 816-799-0820 for Window World. Personal friends with John Gillette, the owner. He's a great guy. Going to be seeing him here in just a few weeks, and I'm looking forward to that very much. Also, buddies with Aaron and his team over at Advantage Termite and Pest Control, the only pest control I've ever used. Over 20 years, we've had Advantage coming to our home. Advantage TPC, that's Termite Pest Control, AdvantageTPC.com. Call them today for a quote. Say, you know what? Let's change. Beginning next year, you're it. My contract's up, or there's no contracts here. If your season is up, you can cancel your pest control with who you're with right now. There's no contract there. 913-768-8989. Advantage Termite and Pest Control. And we finished this episode of KKHI with the quote of the week, and this comes from Kurt Warner, one of my faves. Good man. The movie about him was great. Overcame a lot. Super Bowl champion. A truly fine conservative man. Deeply Christian. And a pretty darn good broadcaster. He does Monday Night Football with Kevin Harlan. He does the NFL Network stuff. He's busy enough for a retired football player. He did an interview with People Magazine. Interesting, right? And they asked him about Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers both struggling. By the way, Tom Brady's wife, Giselle, apparently, according to reports, has given him an ultimatum and says, if you promise me you're retiring at the end of this year, I'll come back and we'll stay together. That's not a marriage. An ultimatum by somebody threatening to divorce you is not a marriage. Sorry. Just saying. Anyway, Brady's playing crappy. Rodgers playing crappy. They both at times look disinterested, old, tired, whatever. Here is what Kurt Warner told People magazine about Brady and Rodgers. Quote, I think both those guys look like they're exhausted. It's okay to go, you know what? It's not how it used to be. Maybe it's time to walk away. Kurt Warner believes it's time for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers to retire. Now, he didn't go on and say part of this equation is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, the young players that we're seeing, but we see a difference now between those players and these older players. We see that. Warner went on to say, look, it gets too hard as you get older. There's too much expectation. You can't live up to it. Your body won't allow it. So you try to work more and more and more. You run more, you lift more, you do more. You try and you try and you try. It takes time away from your family. Everything just gets harder and harder and harder as you get older. And he didn't mention it in this quote, but there's a generation gap too. When you're 45 and your receiver's 23, what do you have in common? How do you team build there? How do you become that leader? Yeah, he knows you're the greatest of all time. That helps. We've seen some weird stuff with Brady this year. I'm not giving up on either one of them. They're both too great for me to say it's time for them to hang it up. I think Aaron Rodgers got a lot of football left in him. I think he needs a better situation. Something ain't right in Green Bay. They're trying. They brought in new parts. They're trying to help him out, and they're allowing him to help make decisions, and maybe that's why they're not as good. I don't know. Brady and the Bucs just looked lost last week, completely lost in their game. So, interesting quote from Kurt Warner. We love it when people say things. We love it when you say to other people, listen to Kevin Kietzman Has Issues. Hit that button. Hit that subscribe, follow, like. Go give us a rating if you can. Wherever you listen, there's likely an ability to rate us 1 to 5 stars. We'd love to have some positive ratings out there. I know that's probably not your thing, but it'd help. It's good stuff. It's good for the podcast. If you can do that, helps get it in other places, people to see it. Oh, this is highly rated, whatever. So go give us a nice rating if you can figure out how to do that, depending on the platform you listen on. But just mostly, God bless you, and thank you for being here and listening every day to Kevin Kietzman Has Issues.
Thanks for listening to Kevin Kietzman Has Issues, presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. To get exclusive patrons-only podcasts, receive a weekly newsletter, and attend in-person patrons-only parties, visit kkhasissues.com and become a patron today. This has been a production of Crooked Tail Media Incorporated.